After 3 long weeks, Apple has released watchOS 27 Developer Beta 5. So this one actually came in at 1.2 gigabytes, a little bit more than the last one. I think the last one was about 890 or so. So a little bit bigger than the last one. So let's see what we can find out on what's new. So first off, we're gonna go into settings. We're gonna go to general and about. And if you take a look, the build number on this one is 24R5347A. Now this is pretty interesting because that A notifies us that Apple feels like this is almost finished, which I gotta say, I've spent a few hours with this build. I spent about 12 hours, I guess, technically with it. And I would say it is not ready yet. So the last build was an H, this one is an A, so that's a massive jump. So if you didn't know, that's what basically, they kind of just go down in letters. So it's H, usually you get a G, usually then it might jump to like a D, a C, somewhere around there. But getting from an H to an A is crazy. Like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm not sure if that was just a mistake or if Apple really feels like this is about ready to be released. Obviously, we still do have some time before this is actually released. Like, I don't expect beta 5 to be the last one. Sometimes they do skip watch in betas. So we might see iPhone beta 6 and we may not see an Apple Watch beta 6. That does happen. It usually happens every year. But I'm not saying that's gonna happen this year. I'm just saying I think it's kind of weird that we're already at A. Now, first thing that you probably notice is the Siri icon is different. Like, it's wildly different. So that means we should have a newer, better Siri. And I will say I have seen some improvements on how Siri is doing. It seems to be responding faster. And I had that issue that others were having last time as well, where Siri wasn't setting timers, and that seems to be fixed. So I can just set a timer for 5 minutes.
Five minutes, starting now.
And you also notice that was a lot faster than what it has been in previous builds. Now, it is still slower than I think it needs to be. It takes a little extra time. Seems like that animation is what really just slows it down. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're using that animation just to kind of help them along. But I don't know. It still seems a little too slow, but I am glad to see that the timers, at least for me, is working again. And yes, I did get somebody that mentioned last time you don't have to say, set a timer. You can just say the time, and that does work still as well. 10 minutes.
I've set a timer for 10 minutes.
So you can do that. So that both of these are working, and it looks like she's still listening to me. I'm not really sure why, but that's kind of cool, I guess. Overall, like, some things still aren't working. Now, I did just reboot my watch to see if I can actually improve it, but let's see if I ask it for how many steps I have. How many steps do I have today? So it's searching, it's going over the results.
I can't access your daily step count directly. You can check your steps in the Fitness or Health app on your iPhone or Apple Watch.
Now, this used to work, and that's the thing that's driving me nuts, is that this was a feature that they released a couple years ago. Now, I know not everybody is experiencing this. Like, I asked a friend, and they are having no problem. I even asked my iPhone, and it won't even do it. And I'll show you the images that it gave me. I think I saved it. So here is what it popped up when I initially asked. So it said to go to the Apple Music app and review the privacy information before it can check your step count. I thought that was very weird. I'm not sure why I had to do that, but I even went through Apple Music. There was a couple new intro screens there, and it still, even after that, it still couldn't tell me my step count. I was hoping the reboot would fix it, but it doesn't look like it has. But as I mentioned, this is probably not happening for everybody. It's just some. I have given it access because you can give Siri access to your step data, and that's something you have to do before this stuff works. I did do that earlier on, and for whatever reason, it's still just having an issue with it. That being said, if you do want to get your step count on your Apple Watch, I do have an app for you. This is Stride Pal. It's only $1.99 in the App Store. It's one that I made myself, and it gives you full access to accessing your step data directly from your watch, directly from your complication. It does update in the background. It is not real time on the complication, but inside the watch it is. So it will give you an updated step there. And of course, there is an iPhone app as well. Let me get dark mode because that's just looks a little bit better in this lighting. So you have your step count, you have a 2-week list right there. You can see my steps have been completely awful the last few days. We just got back from a trip and I have been recovering. But you have all these stats that you can access right here for the year, for everything. Like, I tried to make this app something for everybody that wants to track different things, different stats. Everything is right in here, and it is only $1.99 in the App Store. There's no subscription, it's a one-time payment, and the link for it is in the description. Now back to watchOS 27 Developer Beta 5. I thought it'd be fun to try to test that email stuff again and see what it can tell me there. I recently got an email from Uncrate. Can you tell me what the subject line of that was?
The subject line of the most recent email from Uncrate is 1938 Talbot Lago T150 CSS Teardrop Coupe and more.
So it has that, it got it. Let's see if I can click and open it and see if it actually opens the email. Still doesn't seem like it opens the email directly, but it does open up the email app, and then I can open up the email and try to just load that and view everything there. So that all is still working well, but now I still hoped that one day I can actually send an email through Siri, and I don't know if that's working yet. So that has always failed in the past. So let's try this now. Send an email to Tim Cook, letting him know that I'm gonna miss him.
Sorry, I can't help you with that on this device.
So sadly, that functionality is still not working. You can do it from the iPhone, I believe. Let's just test that real quick. I have my iPhone right here. We're gonna zoom out. Send an email to Tim Cook, letting him know that he's gonna be missed.
I've started an email to Tim Cook, saying that he's going to be missed.
Okay, send it.
I'm having trouble locating the draft I just created. Would you like me to create a new email to Tim Cook and send it?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm unable to send the email right now.
So it looks like Siri on the iPhone isn't working that well right now either. So that makes me feel a little bit better for the Apple Watch. Now let's go back into a few things. Now, do I recommend that you install this on your Apple Watch at this stage? We are getting closer to the launch, but I still wouldn't recommend. The public beta should be out maybe by the time you're watching this video or very soon after. I just still think running betas on the watch, on your main watch, is never a good idea because there's always issues. Even with this one, there could be more issues that pop up, but just so you know, that is a real issue that can happen. Now, as far as things that have changed, we still have the same dynamic app switcher and the quick switching of apps is still gone. At this point, it's definitely going to be gone for good. The Walkie-Talkie app is also still gone. I see people that always ask about that. That one seems to be gone for good as well. There are some third-party apps out there, just so you know that you can basically do the same thing. Obviously, it's more of a pain because you have to install it and whoever you want to talk to has to install it. So it doesn't go through like the FaceTime system, but it is still an option if it's something that you really miss and you really want to have back on your Apple Watch. Now, as far as there's obviously no new watch faces as of yet, that's going to happen with the final release or the release candidate. Once they actually announce the new watches, that's when we will see the new watch faces. As far as battery life, it seems to be doing fairly well. So I can go into settings here. We can go down to battery. Now I had this on charge last night, but we're at 94% so far. So it's draining, I feel like, a little bit faster than I wish it was. But if we go to battery health on this device, we are now at 98%. This is the Ultra 3. So since the betas have started, I believe I was still at 100 before they started. And then we went down to 99. Now we're down to 98. Betas are always hard on your watches. Like, that's the one thing that's going to kill that battery health more than anything else. So that's another reason why I highly recommend you stay away from betas on the Apple Watch, is because, or even on the iPhone, it's harder on the iPhone as well. But it's just one of those things that you got to kind of weigh out the pros and the cons. And usually when it comes to betas for the Apple Watch, there's more cons than pros because there's not a lot going on most years with the Apple Watch. So mainly this year, if I switch, because I want to go back to my regular watch face. If I go back here, mainly this year, it's just this dynamic app switcher and the new Siri, which the new Siri so far is still, it's getting better, but it's still not where it needs to be. But everything seems to be pretty responsive. Like I can go ahead and let's see, where's my go-to weather app? That's the one I like to open. So I can open up that, opens pretty quick. This was the first time it was launched. I can scroll through, no problem there. I can open up this from my complication right here. I can go ahead and roll the dice. That all seems to be really quick, really easy. Once again, check my step count, which hasn't updated because I haven't moved. And I can go check my blood oxygen levels as well and just see everything in there too. So everything seems pretty quick. I will say the one thing that I still hope they improve is the Apple Pay. So if I double tap here, you still see the control center first, probably at least 95% of the time. I think there was one time I didn't see it, like right there. That time it didn't show it, but most of the time you get a little glimpse of it before it actually shows up. Control center still is great. I feel like everything moves around good there. So overall, this was an improvement on the betas, but I still don't feel like it was an H to A improvement. Probably more of a maybe H to D or C. I would give them that, but the A just seems like they jumped a little bit too far this time, and I'm not sure what that's going to lead to. I'm not sure if we're not going to see much more with the betas on the watch. We're just going to kind of have to wait and see. And if you want to stay updated, be sure to hit that subscribe button because I always post the latest on everything to do with the Apple Watch. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.